Maloney.
Thank you, Mr Chair, and it is indeed a pleasure to rise and speak. I think I'm the first female speaker on this committee stages of the bill. And the reason why I raise that, Mr Chair, is because actually, when it comes to superannuation, women disproportionately rely on superannuation payments because during the course of our lifetimes, on average, we earn less than men do during the course of our working lives, and because we live longer. And so this bill is of particular importance to the women of New Zealand, and so on that basis I'm very pleased to take a call. Mr Chair, I am a little disappointed in this bill because I thought the New Zealand Superannuation and Retirement Income Amendment Bill may well be the bill that sees the government fix up its mistake of stopping contributions to the New Zealand Superannuation Fund. I had hoped that that's what this bill would do, but unfortunately it doesn't amend that particular big and costly mistake from the national government. It doesn't reinstate the contributions. And Christopher Bishop, when he spoke, gave an excuse for that and said it was because it would be remiss of the government and wrong of them to have borrowed money to have kept those contributions going in the midst of a recession. Well, Mr Bishop, why did your government borrow for tax cuts in the midst of a recession? Because actually, what we know about the New Zealand Superannuation Fund is that the sorts of benefits coming from it and the wise investments that were being made and the return on that investment would have been a better thing to have borrowed money for in the midst of a recession than tax cuts that simply went nowhere and built no increase in our economy and didn't create any jobs, didn't do any of the things that they said it was going to do. Well, the member might well say rubbish, but he's here debating a bill where the National Party, I think it's the sound of the National Party confessing that the Labour Party gets future planning better in this country than what they can, because they've said 15 years ago they said the Labour Party was wrong to do this, that Dr Michael Cullen was wrong to implement this fund, and 15 years later here they are saying, yep, it was a dog, all right, it was a greyhound. It was a fast-running dog, and it was one that got this country ahead of many other countries, many other countries indeed. And I think that is the sound of the National Party saying, sorry, we are too focused on short-term gains and can't see what the future looks like, but it is in fact the Labour Party that gets this right consistently time and time again. I'm sure that is what the sound of that speech was. Mr Chair, in part one of this bill, it sets up these fund investment vehicles and what guardians can do to take some more control of those fund investment vehicles. And I can't stand today in the House and talk about superannuation and vehicles without pointing out to the House that one of the reasons that New Zealanders are going to rely so heavily on the outcomes and the proceeds of the investment that this bill talks about is because superannuants are going to be paying the highest level of vehicle registration under the changes that government's going to bring in tomorrow. Most superannuants are going to be paying $158 for their car registration. Mr Speaker. So that's why part one of this bill is so important, because I am going to disagree, as I quite frequently do actually, with David Bennett when he spoke. He said the reason why we have this is because this bill and why we have the superannuation fund is all about the guardians. Actually, no, Mr Bennett. The reason why we have this fund is for people, so that they can live in some level of dignity and respect when they retire and when they reach their older ages. It is something that I'm very proud of that the Labour Party put in place against vehement opposition from the then opposition National Party. But we did it because we knew that this was going to be something that would see New Zealanders looked after in their older age. The great pity of this bill is that, two things really, is that the National Party hasn't used this opportunity to reinstate the contributions to New Zealand Super that us baby boomers are going to need in our older age, and secondly, that it has demonstrated the chaos that the National Party is still in, the day-to-day chaos when the National Party MPs on the committee they wanted one and recommended one course of action, and the Finance Minister has done them over.